Welcome back to a new video. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make your hydraulic brakes more sharp. Well, yeah, mine's not very sharp at the moment. One of the things you can do is you can pop the bubbles out the oil. So what you want to do is you want to take that off and take this bit off. And you take it off, and then with the oil you want to like pump your brake, and all the bubbles will come to the top, but I've got too many air bubbles in mine to do that, so I need new fluid, which is basically bleeding it. But I can't do that right now because I don't have the oil, but I ordered some oil, and you need to make sure you get the right oil though, because if you don't, it can ruin your brakes, get them contaminated and stuff. So you need to make sure you look up, like for instance there's a certain type for Shimano, a certain type for SRAM. You need to just make sure you're using the right oil. But I'm going to be showing you a nice, quick and easy way of doing it. So this is just how to realign your brakes, so I'm going to do that now. Obviously, you're going to need a set of Allen keys, depending on what size brake you have for these bolts here. So you need to loosen them and basically tighten them so they're more straight, and that will make the brake more sharp. Well, not necessarily more sharp, it also helps if your brake's rubbing a lot. So this will help stopping it rub as much. So there's two access points of how you can do it. So there's I don't know if you can see very well, let me put my flash here. You want to loosen them two and loosen these two. So I'm just going to do that now. I'm going to loosen them. So, oh my god, look how dirty it is. So one thing you can do is you want to, if they're really dirty, you take this off and you just clean down the pads, which is what I'm going to do. If you don't want to do that, like that whole process, then you can just loosen it and then do the step that I'm going to show you after. So if you want to just, if they're already quite clean, then you might just want to skip to the other part, and I'll show you how to realign the brakes. I'm going to show you how I clean my brakes now. Doing is I don't know if you can kind of see the steams rising a bit. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be pouring it over this, because you can see all that junk that's built up. So hopefully that will wash out some of the dirt. I've got socks on, so it's going to be annoying to do. Just make sure, like, it don't matter if but you do want it to be hot. It doesn't really matter if what was I going to say? It doesn't really matter if you get on the actual disc, because it will dry. But maybe don't do this if you're riding with it at the time, because it will make the brake feel a bit like not too good at the beginning, but the end result will be good. So I just like push the wheel through it so that like pushes all the dirt out with the water, kind of just flicks it off in the field. So you just give it a little spin. My brake's already quite aligned, and what I tend to do is give it a little pump, so it kind of just like pushes it down. My pads are getting a bit old though, as you can see. I'm going to need some new pads soon. If you do want a video on how to replace the pads, I'll do that in a future video. Now I'm not really going to be able to record this, but what you want to do is you want to hold your brake, you want to like push it in, yeah, and at the same time as pushing it in, you want to tighten it. So much easier with two people, but when you get good at it, you can hold with one hand and you can tighten with the other hand, which is what I'm going to do. So you want to make sure that if you see, because it's loose now, I don't know if you can see, but when I do that, it kind of like holds it in place. So that's where like that's where it's straight as like it can be. Obviously if your disc's bent, you're probably going to need to get a new one. Or if your wheel's badly buckled, then sometimes that can affect it as well. So you need to, if it's still rubbing after you've done this, then there's clearly another problem, like either your wheel's buckled or your disc is bent. If your disc is bent, it's quite easy, you just get a new disc. But if your wheel's buckled, you can see by spinning the back wheel, and you can see if it wobbles around, and if it's wobbling around quite a lot, that's probably why your disc is still rubbing. And you can go to a bike shop and they can true the wheel if it's not too badly damaged, and that's only going to put you back like £15. It's not really the end of the world. If the brakes are still not sharp, it might mean your disc is either weared down or you're going to need new pads. Those are all or you could be having a leak here, and it could be going onto the disc, which is maybe why your brake's squeaking. And if it is, if a bit of oil's leaked onto it, all you want to do is get hot water like I just did, and you want to pour it over, and that should stop the squeaking. So yeah, or you could have got oil from spraying your chain, something like that, just general bike work. Could have got oil on your chain, not on your chain, on your disc, so that could be a reason why it's squeaking. The reason why you want to use hot water and not cold is because hot water will evaporate and get rid of most of the oils. I hope I'm explaining it pretty well. I'm using most of the knowledge I have on hydraulic brakes and how to make them more sharp. So I'm just gonna tighten it off camera because I can't really balance it up anywhere. Actually, you know what? I'll balance my camera so you can kind of see how I do it. But you could do it with 2 people, that'd probably be a bit easier. So I'm gonna balance it up now. Okay, one thing I haven't said that I'm just going to say now, make sure you're tightening one side and then you go to the next side. It's similar to a stem, but not as far of a degree as a stem. When you're tightening one side down, it's going to make the other side loosen more. So you want to tighten one side, tighten the next side, and until they both feel really tight, because you don't want it to come loose. But obviously don't tighten it too much or you can thread your bolts and they can get all ruined. But apart from that, there's not really much else you need to know about sorting out your brake, so I'm just going to show you how sharp the brake is now. But the brake is feeling, I don't know if you can see, but it's got a lot more thing to it, but you can see there's a bit of oil leaking in my brakes, so I'm going to need to get a new brake soon anyway. Have you got any ideas of what brake I should get next? Because I already tried the Dior SLX, kind of thinking maybe trying a Magura, but yeah, it was better than it was. I still need to get it bleeded as well because I can tell it's got air bubbles in it, because the way you can tell that is you put your bike upside down, and if when you lift it back up, if it feels more like there's more, like it goes further into your grip than it did when the bike was the other way around, then that probably means you've got some air bubbles in, and you can just try and pop the bubbles, which is where you take off the cap and you slowly squeeze out, and it should pop out the bubbles if you have some little ones. But I can tell just from how it feels, because it went all the way down to the grip when I put it upside down the other day. I can tell that means there's a really big bubble in this brake, which means I need new oil and I need to filter out the old oil, because this brake's probably pretty old, because I don't even know how long this brake's, how old it is. But as you can see, it's not one of the new Diors, so it's probably kind of old. So if you did like the video, oh, I got some nice dinner. If you did like the video, don't forget to drop a like, subscribe, comment down below what videos you want to see, and let's get me to 900 subscribers by the end of the month. Thank you all for watching.